views and opinions expressed by the participants in this program are those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Gray Media Inc., KTVF, my mother, or the Commissioner of Baseball.
This is a
Look at this, will ya? Show number 14. We are developing a big steaming pile of shows around here on Interior Insights, which is, I'm going to do something again sort of uncharacteristic for me and get on with it, because our interview today was like right on that verge of, well, it could be a two-parter, but then they'd be two really short ones, so we're going to get it all in here today at once. And it's, are we releasing on February 2nd? Web address, webcenterfairbanks.com. Mobile app is Alaska's news source, Fairbanks. If you want to reach out to me directly with any questions, something you'd like me to read on the show, feedback on the show content, off the show content, whatever, jrlewis at ktvf11.com. That's where our mailbag is. So this week we are visiting with Tracy Vanairsdale, who is president of the Fairbanks Rotary Club. And next week, I'm not sure. There are a couple of possibilities, so we'll have to see. Because now that now that we're back from being gone, the interviews are coming fast and furious. We're going to forego the news recap. Of course, all of the stories our local reporters do are up at webcenterfairbanks.com, and we're going to get right to the calendar here. This week featuring a couple of things that recur, like the Alaska Works Partnership monthly orientation, presented by the Alaska Works Partnership. What a coincidence. It recurs monthly on the first Wednesday, so you have one of those coming up here soon, from 12:30 to 1 p.m. at the Fairbanks Job Center, 675 7th Avenue. And their phone number, if you want more information, 907-457-2597. And you're invited to come take advantage of free construction training. Alaska Works Partnership offers free, hands-on, introductory training to get you started on your career in construction or mining or oil and gas, maritime, and transportation industries, none of which I think are probably going anywhere. An Alaska Works Partnership representative will be available at this event, this recurring Wednesday event, to answer any questions and provide an orientation of the program. Again, if you have any more questions, 907-457-2597. On page 2, FAS Tuesday night indoor USPSA match. That's a lot of letters. And that's presented by Fairbanks Action Shooting. They started having these back on December 9th, and they'll continue through at least April 28th, recurring weekly on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And put on, it's located at the Tanana Valley Sportsmen's Association, 1225 TVSA Way in Fairbanks. Phone number is 474-4538. And they invite you to kick your week into high gear with some fast-paced indoor action. Join them Tuesdays for the match, a fun, dynamic evening featuring 2 to 3 stages of close quarters competition. Setup starts at 6, shooting starts at 6:30. Event ends at 8:30, and they rely on their shooters. They emphasize that, so please come early to help set up so they can start right at 6:30. And they need to have at least 5 pre-registered shooters by Monday at 9 p.m., or the match will be canceled. So if you want to participate, get signed up. You can come out, sharpen your skills, enjoy a great evening with the Fairbanks shooting community, and they will see you on the range. Again, if you'd like something in our calendar, just go to webcenterfairbanks.com, find the community calendar, and upload your event. And I assume it's easy. I don't know. I haven't tried to put anything there. As far as our main part of the show, Tracy Vanairsdale is the president of the Rotary Club of Fairbanks. She's an architect with a long history in Rotary, including as a former youth exchange student, and she now leads the club as it celebrates 80 years of service. So, with no further out of me, let's begin our visit with Tracy Vanairsdale on Interior Insights number 14. And so, President Tracy and fellow Rotarians, I'm still like getting into the whole lingo of it, so I say the right thing. Delightful to have you with us. We've been trying for months, actually, to get together. And
busy people.
Here we are. So, as always, I would like to start by meeting you. Tell us about your background. Are you a lifelong Alaskan, or did you come to us more recently?
Yes, I was born and raised here. I'm very proud to be a Wolf Pup, Wolverine, and Wolf Pack graduate. So going through our public school systems at Wood River, Ryan, and West Valley. Graduated in 1989. Went on, I studied for a year at UAF, but knew I wanted to be an architect. So I went out of state under the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. So got to get my degree and then return home here to Fairbanks, and where I practice architecture in my firm.
And so what are some projects, for example, that you've done in that way?
Well, we do projects across the state. We have offices in Fairbanks and Anchorage. So it's been great to have a global sort of aspect of all Alaska regions. But here in Fairbanks, I was happy to be a part of the Ryan School Replacement Project, Morris Thompson Center, Chief Andrew Isaac, the surgery addition at the hospital. So we do work in all areas of schools. Denali and Nordale schools we replaced with new facilities here a while ago. So we get to do a lot of fun stuff.
A lot of really prominent.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good to drive around and say, I help with that.
Yeah, it's really fun. And there's a whole slew of team people around me and great mentors that have helped me along the way.
And what is your actual role? Do you own the firm? Or
I am one of the owners, and I'm the president of Bettesworth North.
Okay, good. And so how did you first get involved with Rotary?
So I was a Rotary exchange student back in 1988. Through the college club. So right now I'm a part of the Fairbanks Rotary Club, but there's several other clubs in our region and, of course, across the state. And the college club sponsored me. Back then, there wasn't that many exchange programs, so it was a really neat opportunity, and I was interested in doing a study abroad at that time. So I was able to go to Cordoba, Argentina, and spend a year there in between the middle of my junior year to the middle of my senior year of high school. So that was my first introduction to Rotary. I'd never been involved. I'd never gone to a meeting. I didn't know anybody involved in Rotary. But that was a wonderful way to understand part of their global mission of spreading peace and understanding and connections.
Okay. And so after you did the exchange, did you continue to be involved, or was there kind of a gap in there? Or?
There was kind of a gap. Yeah. I returned, and you did some presentations, and but I was busy with school and college and everything else. So then, fast forward about 20 more years, I was sponsored, I guess, and invited to participate in what they have, another program that's called the Group Study Exchange. And that's an international Rotary program where folks from different regions go and exchange with another cross-cultural international program for a month. So I was able to go study, and live in Sweden for 4 weeks, sponsored by Rotary, hosted by a Rotarian. They select 4 non-Rotarians, young professionals, to go abroad, and they exchange with that country to country. So I know our local district and region here has exchanged with like India, and they've gone to different places. And that year they were going to Sweden, and that's my heritage. And I was very interested in that. So Chuck Kaltenbach was our Rotarian that led 4 of us representatives. We had 2 of us from Fairbanks, one from Kodiak and one from Whitehorse, Canada, which was part of our district then. And we went and shared our profession, our understanding, our interests, and just, again, that whole idea of connecting with others. So I got to live with architects in Sweden. We traveled around a little bit and toured job sites and meet with other firms, and also then just share a bit about our work in Alaska too. So it was wonderful.
It's kind of no wonder then that you had so much enthusiasm that eventually led to this presidency. Now, after that You were not yet a member
No.
before Sweden.
Yeah.
When did you actually then become a participating member?
Yeah, so that was in 2000, and I joined because of commitments in life and just knowing what I need, my priorities of helping where I could help out. I eventually joined about 6 years later. So my mentor and my business partner at the time, CB Bettisworth, was active in the club and inviting me. I had several folks inviting me to participate in it. I finally knew it was the right time for me. And so then joined and committed to, helping and doing what I could.
And then how did the ascendancy to presidency come along?
That was more gradual. I guess I just first joined the board, and then got more curious and again, aligning my schedule and availability to being part of the executive board and then, putting my name in the hat.
And so then it kind of goes up. You go through some different offices. And
we have a really
there.
nice progression where you get a lot of exposure and learning more about clubs across the state, because, of course, there's many clubs all across Alaska, the U.S., and, of course, the world. We have a really nice progression where you enter in the executive board as a treasurer-elect, then a treasurer, then a secretary, then president-elect, then president, and then there's even past president duties. In each one of those is a year-long commitment. Mm-hmm. So when you commit to this, it's, you're in there. You're in it, but you really get a nice understanding. And, of course, I have an amazing team and board members, and they inspire you to want to be a part of it. So
kind of just for a broad brush idea for somebody that's never heard of Rotary before, how would you sort of describe its reason for existing?
Yeah, well, it's a service club, and it was founded, I think, in like the early 1900s back in Chicago by a gentleman named Paul Harris and some of his colleagues, and it was really about, I think, sharing of knowledge and sort of collective fellowship and that, and then it just grew and grew and grew with more of an intensity of helping others, and so it's I think it's a service above self is sort of our like motto, and so it's the coming together once a week of different people and different backgrounds, different industries, professional, non-professional, all are welcome. And
a lot of nonprofit members.
A lot of nonprofits. It's really wonderful. And I think that's one of the benefits that I see as of an organization like this, and I know there's many others in our community, we're so blessed with that, is that it brings together all these different entities and people into a place where it's non-political, non-business oriented. It's just about helping others and learning and growing and understanding more about each other. And then there's this network, this fabric knitted in of opportunities, much like the Rotary Exchange programs that I was a participant in, but also international, initiatives. Rotary has always been super involved with polio eradication. So that's one of their international efforts. But there's all sorts of opportunities that is organized at different levels that you can participate in.
So locally, it seems, I haven't been in all that long, but in terms of capturing that vision of service and a group of people that focus on that and are invested in that and care about it, Fairbanks seems to be, just top notch in that regard.
Yeah, I think our club is one of the strongest ones, honestly, in the state.
Yeah.
In the Fairbanks Rotary Club, like I mentioned, there's several different ones. There's a college club. There's a Sunrisers. They meet at different times, different locations. We meet Thursdays noon at the Westmark. We have about 100 people in our club, and we, thank goodness to all the folks that have come before us, have really set a wonderful bar of projects and energy and initiatives that have been easy to like build upon. So most recently, our club, one of the major projects we did was a play park at Tanana Lakes.
Yeah.
So that was a multi-year project. Hundreds of thousands of dollars went into fundraising and installing that. And so, there's when there's needs, we give grants, we give, monetary donations, but we also lend in and give, the actual planning, like that play park,
Right.
and, the actual installation sort of side. And we're working with the Parks and Rec and the borough to make good things happen in our community.
Well, and recently, many of us participated in the food bank preparation in advance of the holidays. I saw you were there the day
that was great fun.
We were with the Riverboat Group, and of course John over at the Salvation Army with a leadership role, and all. And there were probably a bunch of people, but that was a massive undertaking.
And many hands make light work, and that's what it's all about. And what I like about Rotary is it consolidates a lot of those needs into an organized manner so that, you could sign up for that. If you wanted to, someone, John Lubin, other folks to make those things happen, coordinate those, so we can just sign up and show up. And it helps. Yeah. And you can't always do that. Your time is valuable, or sometimes they're asking for a donation. Great. And, you do what you can when you can. So that's an annual sort of initiative we do. We do the bell ringing for John at Salvation Army every year. We do a major fundraiser in August called Farm to Table. It's a big dinner that we local farmers and participate in. So we have different annual things. And of course, coming up here soon is the Chena River Run, the Rotary Chena River Run. That is our major fundraiser that our club organizes and hosts. And
what are the dates for that?
That's May 9th.
Okay.
And so super fun event, family friendly, kind of a first run or fun walk of the season a lot of times. So a fun way to get out and raise money and
enjoy some daylight.
Support. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So
there are a number of things that go on throughout the year, obviously, but you mentioned a bigger project like that park that are not normal recurring. Is there anything else on the radar like the park for the Fairbanks Club? Any kind of big projects?
Well, right now, our initiative this year is we are sponsoring a new K-9 unit for our Alaska State Troopers here in our local region. So that has been in the works since last fall. The acquisition of the dog, the trainers, all of that takes some time. So we've committed funds to that. And in fact, here in a few weeks, we're going to get an update from the Alaska State Troopers on the status. But I'm really excited because we get to name the dog, and we get to have, they committed to coming to visit us several times. So that'll be great. And that's a project that we, looking back in our archives, we had sponsored in years past. And then, and there was a need. And so we review, submissions and ideas. And then, and we have some active folks that are really invested into both the state trooper and the K-9 initiative. So I'm excited to align all of that together to help our community.
It's interesting. Rotary has, when it's going to take on a project or it's evaluating, whether a certain direction is a good way to go, you have a filter that you run it through, the 4-way test. I pulled it up here because there's 4 questions you're supposed to ask. Is the mission the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? If I'm smart, I'll remember to put this up on the screen. And if I'm not, then you didn't see it. But how do you find that works in terms of evaluating things?
Well, I think it's neat because I don't know if they still do this with the membership, but you used to get a little card when you became a member. And I still have mine in my wallet.
Me too.
And it is a really nice reminder to take pause, take a time out, because we're all juggling so much. So it's whether it's a Rotary driven decision, a part of our board or applicants or for grants and that, or if it's just in your own personal or professional, sort of coming back down to like, the foundation of what you're trying to decide upon is I think it's really centering, and it's that honest like perspective of like, what is the good that will come out of this, and is it the honest truth? Like, and I think those are pretty important things to ask these days in this world of
well,
all
I
sorts
remember
of
when I
stuff.
was going through orientation, the idea that being a Rotarian goes beyond, you're not just part of whatever club that you're in, but this is really an international.
Yeah.
And so they said, whenever you travel,
Yeah.
wear your pin.
Yeah.
Because people will see that and they'll say, "Oh, I see you're a Rotarian. What club?" And it's you just meet other people because you have this little thing on. Have you found that to be the case with your vest?
Yeah,
or
absolutely, absolutely. People, conversations will be started, connections will be made, and also I think you start seeing, all the different projects that other Rotary clubs have done internationally and nationally. I was just recently, last summer in Ketchikan, and here was a Rotary Park, with their symbol, like they had sponsored or whatever. So you start discovering these little moments. Or I was just at Raven Landing, and that was one of our projects of that year, was doing bookshelves in their main fireside hearth room. So it's kind of neat to know that you're part of a bigger effort to help others and doing good,
Well, and two, what made me think of that in the first place was the idea that the principles are not just for bringing to the meeting. Okay, here I am at a Rotary meeting. Is it true? Is it fair? Is it better? Is it beneficial? But actually as life principles, because being a Rotarian is not just about being at the meetings. It's a set of principles you can embrace for everything that you do. Yeah,
and I think that whole service above self, what I really love about that is that you're trying to lift everyone around you. And, it's pretty easy to, reflect on yourself and what's good for me, what's good for my business, what's good for my family, like really, internally focus. But when you start looking outside of and around, the opportunities and the sort of awareness, I think, is a really wonderful aspect of what our club or Rotary offers.
Yeah. I just saw a poster come up again the other day when I was surfing, the one about, what your job helps you make a living, but what you do for others helps you make a life.
True.
And we have, it's funny how that keeps coming up, in these conversations, whether it's the United Way or the Salvation Army. And I love reinforcing that going and doing service, excuse me, ends up meaning as much, if not more, to the person serving as the people that are served, in terms of the connections that you make, the new friendships, the sense of doing something meaningful, that can very easily fill that vacuum that just rots people who don't realize, that are so inwardly focused, they just don't realize this gift of being able to help other people.
Yeah. Yep, I totally agree. And I think, so many times you think you either have, I feel like in my life, I've either had time or I've had money, but very rarely, do you ever have both of those at a time? So, so the opportunity to pick and choose when I can participate, physically, like doing the food boxes, like that worked in my schedule, for 2 hours. If someone organizes it, like I can show up to things like that and do some manual labor, and that feels great. We had a great time. They need that all year round. Like, it doesn't have to be just at certain times, but how to facilitate that and help organize that is something I think a bigger organization can offer you. So you don't have to try to, weave yourself into, finding all those opportunities. So I think, that is something that a service club like Rotary, and I know there's lots of options out there, but that has provided.
And I want to interview all of them.
Exactly.
So, when did you become president? When did that start?
End of June of 2025.
And it's a one-year term.
It's a one-year
so you're about
term.
halfway.
Yep.
Okay, so what would you say have been some of your top priorities as the president this year?
So I listed out 4 sort of goals, and I have to flip back to make sure I cite them correctly. One was for our public image. that sort of awareness. And these sort of came filtering through district and some of the international goals. I just sort of dovetailed onto what they had recognized as needing sort of, I don't know if attention, but consideration in the coming year. So I wanted to grow that awareness just for folks to know what Rotary does, because a lot of folks don't.
And here you are sitting and doing that.
I know. Check that.
Ooh,
check that
we're
off.
achieving something.
So, and I am very goal oriented. Like there's competitiveness in there. So I like to take care of business in these ways that I know that I'm accomplishing what I set out to do. So that growing awareness has helped, I think, grow our membership. We've had 12 new members. Welcome to the club, JR. So glad you were able to join. And inviting new guests and having really great programs and using all the media opportunities out there to share. Some people are on Facebook more than others. Some are on websites. Some are just, word of mouth. So making those connections and sharing our public image. The second one I sort of mentioned a bit was strengthening our membership, growing that. So that has been great. Growing, and we always welcome people. They're welcome to attend. It's not an exclusive club. So, we meet Thursdays at noon at the Westmark. People are welcome to come learn more. I'm happy to reach out to folks if they want to learn more. But then to become a member, you pay a monthly due.
Right.
And that covers our international sort of dues, part of that, as well as the meals that are provided in the room rental and all that. And then make a positive and lasting impact, which I think we've done in some of those initiatives you just mentioned, the food boxes, the bell ringing, our fundraising. We're gearing up for the Chena River Run. We also have a entity of Rotary Cares for Kids that we help with foster kids and their families here locally.
That was a powerful program when they came in.
It's making real differences. You know, we're and all it takes is a few of these champions in our club or outside our club that kind of open the door to our awareness and add some structure to how we can help and where we can make a difference. And it just, I don't know, it just sort of pounds and rolls. And it is very meaningful, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Has there been much change in your goals or your intentions with your presidency since it started, or do you kind of see this same path all the way to the end? Yeah,
I think we're staying the course. I think we're checking the boxes off, and we're getting there. I mean, I think as I enter sort of this third quarter of my presidency, I think it's great to reflect back and then also, keep the steam high and not relax now, because I think I'm seeing the benefits of how it's resonating with people, and then trying to respond to it, and making sure our programs are educational, inspirational, growing awareness. So I'm excited. We have our interim chancellor Shrega is talking this week. Next week we have ICE Alaska. We have an update from our K-9 troopers. So really making sure the programs are worthwhile attending. And I just want to mention the fourth goal. Is building lasting memories and having fun together. And so
you're certainly accomplishing that.
Yeah, we just went to the UAF hockey game all together, 30 some of us at last weekend, and so
My wife came with me to the Christmas thing, and right before the 2-week break for the holidays, and she said, "I can't believe how chipper everybody is here. Everybody's so happy and having a good time." And I said, that's not just at Christmas. It's every meeting is like that.
Yeah.
And that was a surprise to me. It's not somber and it's everybody's having a good time.
It's not a formal, I mean, we do have some formalities, I guess, but that's sort of a traditional, but
thing. It's so well balanced.
Yeah. And I think playing off of that 4-way test, the 2 truths and a lie that we
Oh.
have each member give in the beginning. That's just this year. That's not a normal, like each president or committees can change up the actual agendas.
So you need
Yeah.
to flesh that out for
Okay.
people who don't know.
So each week we invite one of our Rotarians, and we have it organized. Thank goodness folks are helping make that all happen. But a Rotarian shares 2 truths and 1 lie. So they cite off 3 things in their history or what they have done in their past or what they like, and then the whole group gets to vote on which one they think is the lie. And so we give out prizes for who guesses correctly, but it's been really fun because we're learning a little bit about people, about what they've done or what their aspirations are, and then some little storytelling. And it's just, again, about the fun and the fellowship and connecting with one another.
Well, and I got to ask you too, and of course, as I do this, the name is completely, but the elder who comes up once a month.
Oh, Mike Ferguson.
Mike Ferguson.
Yeah.
How did that come to be?
I don't know when that started.
I mean, that's better than Paul Harvey.
It is really
so what
good.
is it? Explain what it is he does.
Okay. So Mike Ferguson is an amazing Rotarian and community member. Each month, we get a Rotary publication in the mail, an international Rotary, and it spotlights programs and initiatives and good work and that. So it's an international publication. He takes that magazine and he creates a poem. And it's not a short poem. I mean, it is if you saw it written out, it's a page of phrases and that, all rhyming usually.
Yeah.
And he summarizes it. Sometimes it's just about the story. Sometimes it's about, the overall theme of the magazine. He usually ties in whatever the season it is here in Alaska. Like it is just, like you said, it is amazingly thoughtful. It's entertaining. It's something I look forward to. It's always about the 3rd week of the month.
Yeah.
He does that, and his magazine report is what he calls it. So we're starting to submit that to our district and beyond because I think it is such a unique thing. And
Hey, if you're watching there, your elderness, come and be on the show so we can hear some of those stories personally. Maybe you can nudge him for me.
yeah, I will. It's
That would be
awesome.
so much fun to get the background of somebody with that much experience. What about, have there been any unexpected challenges for you leading the group, or have things largely fallen within expectations?
I would say, I think we've been doing pretty good. We're constantly evaluating our dues structure, like the business side of this, which is not the fun part. We much rather work on projects and helping others, but it's that balancing act of our dues structure to the costs, and of course all costs have risen, so we need to think about restructuring that or basically increasing dues. So that's one thing that has been is on a current effort to analyze. So but otherwise I feel very fortunate that I have such an amazing board and collective committee chairs. There's a lot of pieces and parts to organizing this on a weekly schedule. I mean, it's just it's relentless. Like you said, you got 2 weeks off at Christmas and then you're back at it.
Yeah, you're right back at it.
Yeah.
What about on the flip side of that? Any big surprises or like wow moments since you've had this role?
I think what I'm surprised most about is that people generally, when there's a need, they raise their hand and all you need to do is ask someone for help. And it's amazing how many people are out there ready, willing, and eager to fall in. Or also they're very candid to say not right now, but next, whatever. So that's been really, it warms your heart, I guess. In times where there's a lot more unknowns than knowns, it's nice to know that we have such active people surrounding us. So that's been reassuring and refreshing. So,
as you kind of look ahead not only the rest of the presidency but beyond for the Fairbanks Club, what would you say would be your hopes for Rotary's impact in Fairbanks over the next 5 or 10 or however many years?
That's a really good question. Well, I'd like to see us continue with our Rotary Youth Exchange program. Right now our club is hosting a young lady from Brazil, Bianca.
Somebody else I'd like to have come in and visit with us.
She's lovely. And then we have an outbound student, Stav, is in Argentina. So that's a program I think is, it's an incredible amount of work. There's an incredible team of volunteers that help make that happen. So that would be a wonderful thing to continue to support. And otherwise, I'd love to see that group study exchange come back to our district. That, again, takes champions and people to make that all happen. And that sort of ebbs and flows with that availability. And I'd like to continue to have membership and, I guess, having very inclusive and, a variety of people and representation in our club, because I think the general service side of our communities isn't maybe the same way our generation, how our parents mentored or our what we were exposed to. I don't think that's necessarily a given in the next generations. And so fostering that and the opportunities it brings.
I was going to ask you about that. The service organizations, whether it's Lions, Kiwanis, Elks, Moose, Rotary Exchange Club, all of them, they don't have any future if they don't have younger members interested. So has that proven to be a challenge, or are some younger? I mean, we've had some people in here who are a generation below us that are doing remarkable things with the Red Cross. I'm thinking about Julie, Sarah, who actually just stepped down from the United Way, but the great work that she did. I mean, do we have a way to reach the younger people and encourage them to participate and recognize the value of this?
Well, I don't know if there's a way, but I think there's a responsibility for us to keep, inviting folks to attend our meetings and bring awareness to the opportunity, because what I like to remind folks is that my professional business lane has given me, so many opportunities and so much exposure and so much that education and that. But what I've done outside of that in these other areas, that has really supported my professional growth. Like, this has been very valuable, investments, and like you said, also to complete yourself and feel fulfilled and rewards of all that. But it's, I don't know, it's the benefits of each are different, and yet they're complementary, and there is such an important part of, your growth and your sort of awareness and, I don't know, seeing out your full potential. So I feel like that's a responsibility that we should continue. Now, Rotary does have a vocational education component, which we have not really fully, invested into, maybe, like, all of our other things that we're doing. But I think getting outreach into classrooms and students, and so it's about sharing your profession. But I think along the way, you can't help but tell your Rotary why, your story of why you joined and why you're part of it. And sort of, again, part of those goals of public image and awareness, sharing that with folks to at least invite them to the table, and then they can decide, if they want to be involved in it. But
we hear there's a lot of chatter, and of course you always have to temper the truth or the magnitude of the chatter when you're talking about chatter, what's going on social media or talking heads. But you kind of hear a lot about this recurring theme of sort of a vacuum of meaning for some younger folks. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? There are a lot of, there's been a lot of push to make it all about you and your image and your brand and be an influencer or that kind of stuff. And that it's not like there isn't a place for that kind of thing. But at the same time, if we all do that, then nobody is focused on anybody else. And an organization like this, as we said, and similar to places of worship or other clubs, but to have organizations like this that are healthy and are able to interest younger people to come in, are going to, again, it's not only good for the organization, it's good for the participants who are able to find meaning in service. So, maybe that's if we don't have a mechanism for that, it's something that we kind of look at within Rotary and brainstorm on, or maybe people are doing that already. But that just seems like an important component of
I totally agree.
a successful future.
Yeah. Yep. And I think, like many things in life, it is what you make of it. Mm-hmm. So if folks have ideas like how to make it more fun, we did a cheers with beer, fellowship at, a local brewery. We don't have to do, we also do trash cleanup day. So, it can be an activity, it could be a fellowship, and it could be like where I think the opportunities are immense to try to support one another, collectively think, and find sort of our commonalities versus focusing on everyone's differences, and just find some time to connect with one another. That's what I appreciate. And because, we get into our streamline of our industries, that, your circle of exposure and, I guess fellowship outside of that sometimes are limited. But so I think that's what I enjoy about Rotary is it's all inclusive, and it, you're sitting next to folks that you would normally, maybe not have met before, and finding how, that we have similar interests.
The nonprofit leader and the next to the successful business owner, next to the business startup, next to the student. Really is where that discovery about each other and the genesis of some potentially great ideas that can help a lot of people. That's good stuff. Speaking of community, you pointed out that you're a lifer. You have been abroad, as you said, no doubt have seen places in the lower 48, and yet you continue to live in Fairbanks. Why? Why Fairbanks? What makes it special to you?
Well, I was very fortunate to have a job secured as I graduated college. That was a big one financially to be set in that. So that immediately drew me back. But I live here because I was raised with an appreciation of Fairbanks and our interiors. I was raised on the rivers. I was raised outside. I love to hunt. I love to fish. So that ability to be able to instantly get out and do that. And then I think I feel very fortunate that we were also raised for being part of a community and making a difference. So I feel like, you can really do that here, and a lot of people, like your circle, the connectivity of that is pretty, I think, unique here in Fairbanks. And I think Alaska is that way too. Alaska is a small, big state. Small in some regards, and of course very big in others. But the impact that you can make is real. And so I feel very fortunate to be able to do that. But I would say the seasonality and the outdoors and getting away and getting out and about. We do a lot of rafting and boating and skiing and snow machine. That's
all right nearby.
It's very accessible, and that's an important part of our lifestyle.
I'm a lifer too, and I've always felt very much that same way. To me, it's this perfect balance of big enough so you have the contacts and the networking and the ability to communicate and learn about opportunities, but not so big that it gets full of itself and becomes just impersonal and dispassionate, and people don't notice each other or care about her. They just pass each other on the street. That doesn't happen here. You can't go to Fred Meyer or Safeway without seeing a bunch of people that you know.
And I think Fairbanks also has this unique love-hate sort of relationship with the seasons. Like we are, you've got to get ready for the next one. You've got to, and then you get excited about the next one. You're prepared, you got to prepare for it. There's certain things you do at certain times. And I think that change is something to really, celebrate. And I love, it's part of my business and architecture. Like it's so tied to our solutions, but yet it's also so tied to our lifestyle that that's another wonderful part. That why I love in the interior, especially because we do have the extremes of.
I want to reinforce too what you said there about the ability to make an impact. The ability of one person with one good idea to have an impact on a community, which again, as towns get larger and larger, and everybody's sort of in their own little thing and don't have a sense of being a community, they kind of lose sight of that. But that can be frustrating for somebody who wants to make a difference. If you live in a big metropolitan area, you can, lightning can strike, but the odds are not like they are here.
Yeah.
Where you can take a good idea and get it in front of the right people and actually see it become something instead of just fading into the noise.
Well, and like you mentioned, running to the store, running to, a borough assembly meeting or to, a function, you will run into people of influence, of position, and more times than not, they are more than willing to either talk then or set up a time to talk or that. And I just feel we're so fortunate to have people that are willing to, that are, leaning in, stepping up, taking that responsibility on, and then willing to hear from folks like us. And so that's, I think, another wonderful aspect of Fairbanks.
Great place to call home.
It is.
All right, you ready for the lightning round?
Okay, oh boy.
All right. Here we go. Coffee or tea?
Time of day. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon.
All right, me too. That's exactly how we do it. Cat or dog?
Dog.
Dogs. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
I figured. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, dear goodness. That's a really hard one.
Well, of course. It could be recent, too. It doesn't have to be all time.
All time? The Notebook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Big surprise there at the end, wasn't there?
Yeah,
we won't
that
spoil
was lovely.
it for anybody. Weirdest food you've ever eaten? You've gone international, so you may have an advantage there.
Before I was a Rotary exchange student, I went on the American Field Service, AFS exchange program to Iceland for a summer. My parents didn't want me to go for a year yet. They're like, that's too long. You're 16. So they let me go on AFS. And while I wanted to go to Sweden or Norway or Finland, I was selected to go to Iceland. So I spent the summer there. So I had horse meat for the first time.
Oh, my.
And sheep's head, where they boil the head and you eat the meat off and you pick it off. Anyways, that was
kind of like fish head soup here with our native culture.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that the head seems to be a very undervalued cut. And if you had a time machine, what amazing event in history would you like to be there to witness?
Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh.
Don't worry, everybody responds that way.
That's a really hard one. I don't know if it's a event per se, but a period of time. I'd love to have been in Alaska when it was purely the indigenous people, the first people of this time, like the nomadic, going to seasonally to different places. I would love the Bering Land Bridge, like people coming across there, Beringia, like, I don't know, that the historic native culture, I think I would be something I would really love to experience. I don't know. It wouldn't be that tough. I don't know if I'd last very long, but I'd like to just show up and then get out.
I don't know what the rules are with time machines. If you just get hover and kind of see.
Observe.
I don't. Well, when they invent one, I guess we'll see. Tracy, it's been a delight, just as I knew it would be. Thank you so much for coming in, and I hope we'll get to chat again if something else comes up down the road.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You can see why I wanted to get all of that in at once. Good program, not one that really needed to be broken up into two parts, so we just got it all in here. And Fairbanks Rotary Club is not the only one in the area, and I'm hoping we'll get to visit with officials from some of the others, too. It's a good organization. Moving on to Fab Photo, a burden I am only too happy to bear now that, of course, Mike Schultz has found himself in retirement, so I'll do it. And when you send in your fab photos at webcenterfairbanks.com, they might get featured here, and they might get put into one of our calendars, which is, would make you famous in all across the known universe. This one is Winter Sunrise by Terry Norman. Beautiful piece of work. And for those of you on Spotify or just listening, let's have the descriptionator do the descriptionating.
This striking photo captures a vibrant winter sunset framed by snow-laden trees, viewed from a wooden deck railing. The low sun glows orange amid dense boreal forest, typical of late January in interior Alaska like Fairbanks, with lens flares adding dramatic rays. Silhouetted trunks and heavy snow on branches create a serene, fiery glow against the fading light.
I am impressed, by the way, that she did not miss the very cool use of lens flare, which, J.J. Abrams wouldn't have missed either, nor would he have missed a chance to make the whole thing, with vigor. Remember, send your photos to webcenterfairbanks.com to have them included in the Fab Photo collection. And remember to not go anywhere right now. You don't have to remember that for very long because it's like shortly is coming up.
It's time for the thing of the day, 'cause every day has things.
On our show release date of February the 2nd, we have ourselves National Sled Dog Day. Running through snow all day, every day, pulling a sled that can weigh hundreds of pounds, that's a sled dog's job. And don't you think they might deserve a little recognition for this? Well, this is the official holiday of the sled dog, National Sled Dog Day, an opportunity to raise awareness of the animal's dedication to the human race. Sled dogs are thought to have evolved in the mountainous regions of northern Asia over 35,000 years ago. But it was the Alaskan gold rush that reportedly really got the American population interested in the use of sled dogs as a form of transportation, as most gold camps were only accessible by dog sled in the winter months. And I know I've used this bow on previous presents before, but I can't help it. I love it. Hey, I just ran a 26-mile marathon. Oh, really? Neat. How heavy was your sled? Show number 14 now goes on the pile. And as far as next week for number 15, again, I'm not even 100% sure who our guest is going to be, but we'll certainly let you know. WebcenterFairbanks.com is the website. Alaska's news source Fairbanks is the app. If you want to if you want an eel, go to the shop that... Anyway, if you want to email me, it's jrlewis@ktvf11.com, and I'll try to read it. But I may not process it because it's just... So anyway, thank you for tuning in and have a great week.